Hey, what's up, you psycho pinheads? Welcome back to Psychopinion. Tonight we're talking about one of the weirdest, grossest, most uncomfortable horror movies to come out in a while. And that movie is Together. I was having my morning coffee and decided that we needed to discuss this. I just watched it last night. And honestly, this movie feels like somebody watched The Substance, Possession, Crimes of the Future, and a toxic couples therapy session and said, yeah, let's make that into a body horror. Now, before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what's your favorite body horror movie. Because this genre is making a serious comeback right now, and movies like Together are proving horror is getting weird again. And honestly, that's a good thing. What is Together, you ask? Together is a 2025 supernatural body horror film directed by Michael Shanks in his feature film debut. The movie stars Dave Franco, Alison Brie, and Damon Harriman. And the basic premise is a struggling couple moves out to the countryside hoping to reconnect. But after encountering a mysterious supernatural force, their bodies begin literally and physically pulling toward each other. And when I say physically, I mean this movie leans into the body horror hard. The cast: Dave Franco plays Tim. Dave Franco is, as I said, Tim, an emotional lost musician trying to hold on to a relationship that already feels like it's falling apart. Now, Dave Franco has always kind of had an awkward charm to him, but this might honestly be his best horror performance. Other horror thriller stuff he's been in was Fright Night in 2011, The Rental, which he also directed, and Now You See Me, which is not horror, but still genre-adjacent chaos. I'll include it. It's a great movie. I see the third one just came out. I haven't seen that yet. And what helps this movie a lot is that Alison Brie and Dave Franco are actually married in real life. So their chemistry feels natural, which makes the emotional parts work way better. Nothing worse than having a couple that have zero chemistry in a movie. Ruins everything. So Alison Brie, she plays Millie. Alison Brie might honestly be the MVP here. She balances emotional drama, dark comedy, genuine horror, and absolute insanity without the movie completely falling apart. Other horror thriller projects: Somebody I Used to Know, Spin Me Round, not Spin Me Around, Spin Me Round, The Rental, and Together. These two sell the relationship enough that when the movie gets insane, you still care, which is important because this movie gets real weird. Now, Damon Harriman, and horror fans will recognize Damon Harriman immediately. He's one of those actors where you go, wait, that guy? You might not remember his name, but you've seen him. Horror thriller stuff he's known for is Late Night with the Devil, Justified, and Mindhunter. He also played Charles Manson twice, somehow. This dude just naturally belongs in creepy movies. So, the story, I'm going to give you a spoiler light summary here, so I don't want to ruin too much for you because I do want you to watch this. So Tim and Millie move away from the city trying to save their relationship, which is a classic horror mistake. Never move to the middle of nowhere in a horror movie. I mean, I don't know if you'd really know that you're going to be in a horror movie when you move there, and I kind of want to live in the country. But either way, if you feel like you're in a horror movie, don't do it. Nothing good has ever happened after we should start fresh in the countryside. Eventually, they stumble into the supernatural force connected to a cave in mysterious water, and then things start getting bad. Their bodies begin sticking together, reacting violently when separated, literally fusing. And the movie slowly becomes this metaphor about toxic dependency, fear of losing individuality, relationships becoming suffocating. But instead of just talking about it emotionally, the movie turns it into disgusting physical horror. This is where the movie shines. And if you're a body horror fan, you're probably going to have a good time because this movie understands something really important. Body horror works best when it's emotional first. The gross stuff actually means something. It's not just, look, gross arm. It's what happens when two people lose themselves inside a relationship, and the practical effects. Some of them are awesome, uncomfortable, slimy, disturbing, creative. And there are definitely scenes in this movie where you'll go, nope, 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 nope. Rotten Tomatoes, this movie is around 90% critic score early on. IMDb around 7 out of 10 range. And it was praised for originality, performances, practical effects, emotional themes, and some of the criticisms, excuse me, are some people thought the third act got messy, pacing issues in spots, and some felt it leaned too hard into metaphor. And honestly, I kind of get both sides. Get both sides because I think it was actually fairly well balanced. I mean, that is some of the criticism that it received. I think it was a very well balanced movie in that aspect. So this movie is really interesting watch. Was it corny sometimes? Absolutely. But honestly, good corny. And we all know, you guys out there, the horror fans, we all know that in horror fans, corny isn't always bad. Sometimes corny is really, really good in a horror movie. Sometimes corny is a lot of fun. I'm the kind of horror movie where you can tell the filmmakers are just going for it. And I'll always respect a horror movie trying something weird and original over another safe jump scare factory. That's why movies like this stand out. And when I was watching this, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the first time I watched Weapons. And honestly, this reminds me of why people are getting excited for movies like Weapons. Not because they're guaranteed masterpieces, but because they feel different. Horror is at its best when it experiments, when it gets uncomfortable, when it gets risky, when it gets strange. And Together definitely deserves credit for trying to do something new instead of just recycling another franchise. I'm very happy and excited when I watch movies that I'm like, even if it's not a great movie, I'm like, I've never seen that, or that's a new concept, or that's really interesting, or how did they come up with that? Or I don't know what's going to happen next. Those are the movies that I enjoy watching the most. Now, imagine trying to explain this movie to somebody who hasn't seen it. So, it's about relationship trauma and codependency. Okay. And then they basically become human Velcro. What? Exactly. That's the movie. And somehow it works. So for me, I enjoyed this because of the original concept, great chemistry, gross practical effects, and emotional themes actually work. Them being married really helped, in my opinion. I mean, I really felt like, not that they're both good actor and actresses. They're both good actors. We'll just say that. And I would expect that it would go well either way, but I think the chemistry was just it was very standout in my opinion. So if you like body horror, weird horror, relationship horror, or movies that make you physically uncomfortable, check out Together and let me know, was this movie genuinely good, or are we all just excited horror is getting weird again? Like, subscribe, and stick around because here on Psychopinion, we don't just watch horror, we get uncomfortably attached to it. See you soon.